Well, it's another day in America, which should not be taken for granted nowadays. But that means it's another chance for somebody in the Trump administration to prove that they have no idea what they're talking about. And up next, it's returning champion Pete Hegseth. This is going to be a fun one. But first, hello, I'm Steve Harness from the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve podcast, available everywhere, here for Really American Media. Help us hit 1 million subscribers and click that subscribe button right now. I'll wait. Okay. Here's the thing. Former Fox News personality turned Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, is doing his best to distract us all from the fact that he's doing a terrible job and is completely unqualified for this gig by sending out a tweet today in an attempt to own the libs, which is all MAGA really cares about. So let's see how he did. He starts off saying, "This morning, I proudly ended the Women, Peace, and Security program inside the DoD. So first of all, you might ask, what is the Women, Peace, and Security program? It's an act that promotes the meaningful participation of women in all aspects of the conflict continuum, including warfare and stabilization. And as a newly divorced guy, I can tell you women are perfectly suited for combat, so that seems fine. And I wonder, did Pete tell his wife he's ending this program? I assume she knows already since he's been bringing her to meetings and including her on Signal group chats about military operations, but this should end that, right? I'm okay canceling that." So Pete goes on. He says, "WPS is yet another woke, divisive, social justice Biden initiative that overburdens our commanders and troops, distracting from our core task, war fighting." Now, first of all, I didn't realize the core task of the Department of Defense was war fighting. I thought it was defending America with, defense, an entire Department of Defense. But anyway, there's a huge problem in what he just said by calling it a Biden initiative, considering the fact that this thing started back in 2017 when the president was not Biden. It was some guy named Trump. Yeah, hello, this woke initiative started under Trump. Oh, but wait, there's more. It was also co-authored by Kristi Noem, cosplay champion and Trump's current Secretary of Homeland Security, and it was endorsed by little Marco Rubio, who is, of course, Trump's current Secretary of State. That's awkward and very woke. Hegseth continues by saying in his tweet that WPS is a United Nations program pushed by feminists and left-wing activists. Politicians fawn over it, troops hate it. So you're telling me that Trump is a feminist and a left-wing activist? That is not only very wrong, it's offensive to left-wing activists like me. And he says the troops hate it. I assume he's talking about old school bigoted male troops, or do the female troops like shooting themselves in the foot like Pete does? So he wraps up this error and hypocrisy-filled tweet by saying, quote, "The DoD will hereby executive the minimum of WPS required by statute and fight to end the program from our next budget." He said executive. I think he means execute, as in they'll execute the minimum required standards in the meantime. Does nobody proofread anything these days before they hit send? No one in Trump world seems to know how to do that. It seems like that would be a good way for that department to defend themselves from looking stupid. And let's be honest. Let's be real honest. Pete has a lot to defend nowadays.
I'm curious, what did the president have to say about Pete Hegseth and whether his confidence had been shaken at all by the events of the last month?
Sure. And I should just say it was two conversations and actually one late night, 1:28 a.m. butt dial from the president.
Hold on. Sorry, I have to interrupt. Did she just say that the leader of the free world butt dialed her in the middle of the night? Why isn't that alone like major front page news? I assume his butt was trying to dial 911 for help while it's being suffocated by his depends. Picture that. But anyways, please continue. Nice reporter lady.
On Hegseth, that was interesting. We asked, right, this is the moment where Hegseth has rotated out his chief of staff. He's fired 3 top advisors. There's news reports of his wife, who is not a Defense Department official, joining him in official meetings. A story that he had installed a makeup room in the Pentagon. And what the president said was, look, I had to talk with him. I did it in a positive way, but I had to talk with him, and I think he's going to get his act together.
Yeah, the fact that Trump said he has to get it together, that says a lot. It means that Trump knows that things are not together which makes Trump look bad, and that can only lead to one thing, Pete, the unemployment line.
He is aware that the Defense Department right now is a mess, and that is a problem for him. And that's ultimately when you lose a job around Trump. If you start to make him look bad and he can do it on his terms and doesn't feel like he's capitulating to the press, he'll make a move. And I think Hegseth is clearly on a clear warning that if you don't get your act together, you're out.
And we all know Trump loves to fire people. So tell me, TV, what else is Pete Hegseth trying to distract us from with this idiotic tweet that he sent out today?
Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth is once again in hot water. This time, it seems he may have defied standard Pentagon security protocols, now installing an unsecure internet line in his office that allows him to use the Signal messaging app on his personal computer, according to two officials familiar with the matter, raising concerns that his communications could be vulnerable to hacking or monitoring by adversaries. Now, this is just the latest in a string of disclosures that began last month after a report that Hegseth shared sensitive details of an imminent U.S. military mission in Yemen, also on the Signal app. This is an encrypted app, but it's not authorized for sharing classified information. Now, Hegseth has denied any classified information was shared on Signal. Then the New York Times reported Hegseth texted military operational information to another Signal chat. This one included his wife, brother, and personal attorney. This led to a phone call in which President Donald Trump called the secretary's actions childish.
Well, geez, that's a lot. A dirty internet line, that sounds like a fun porn thing, but it's really a hacking thing, as in any country with a clue can hack into it. That, along with the fact that his family members are on a Signal group chat, that should make the butter emails crowd go frickin' nuts. But of course, they're not chanting lock him up because they don't actually care about security. And for all of that to end with Trump calling Hegseth childish means it's only a matter of time before Trump tries to hire Captain America as the new Secretary of Defense. Captain America, oh look, he's right here. Do you think Hegseth is an incompetent fool, Captain America? Yes. Captain, do you want to hear more dumb things from Hegseth?
New York Times reports, quote, Hegseth's personal phone number was easily accessible on the internet and public apps as recently as March, potentially exposing national security secrets to foreign adversaries.
Okay, so he's using a personal phone, which is already a no-no, and his number is all over the internet, which again means any foreign government with a clue can track and hack it. That's awesome. And Pete realizes all of this is making him look bad, so he's also trying to make sure he looks very good.
So what Secretary Hegseth did was he asked for it to be modified into more of a makeup studio. So they took out the table and chairs, and they put in a mirror, and they put in a long countertop for makeup, and they put in a director's chair.
Well, nothing says anti-woke like a man putting on makeup. But hey, at least nobody's making fun of him for all of this.
Pete Hegseth, National Defense Secretary and guy who is totally fine to drive, has been making headlines for adding a makeup room to the Pentagon. To be fair, you do have to be on camera a lot when you are constantly f***ing up.
Well, so there you have it. Pete Hegseth has ended a woke program that his boss started, all while jeopardizing national security, insulting women, messing up his Maybelline makeup endorsement, and proving yet again that MAGA won't let facts stop them from owning the libs. Pete, thanks for your service. We appreciate you. I'm Steve Harness from the Vocal Minority Podcast for Really American Media.